Hi, I'm Michelle, a parent as well as the Helpline and Information Officer Lead at the Sickle Cell Society. Just to give you a little bit of background, I am 42, my son is 10, I've got a 7-year-old as well. And throughout the talks that everyone has done, I saw myself as a parent throughout each and every stage. I used to think that my story was unique to me. So I found out I had the sickle cell trait when I was 22 or 23. I found out by accident. I had a severe asthma attack whilst I was at uni. I was taken to hospital, they did all my bloods and everything, and said, oh, your sickle cell's come back normal. I said, my what? So they said, oh, you know, you've got the sickle cell trait. I said, I did not know that, didn't have a clue. Apparently they didn't test for it as routine in the 80s, which is fine. Gone to mum, I've got the sickle cell trait. I don't know where that's come from. You need to ask your dad. Dad, got the sickle cell trait. Don't know where that's come from. You need to speak to your mum. So spoken to aunties and uncles, eventually found out it came from my dad's side. And some of my aunties knew, but going back to what somebody else had said, the girls of the family knew, but the boys didn't. I find that's also a common thing. So fast forward, I have finished uni, got into a relationship. I know I have the trait. So my thought process was, my partner needs to get screened because I'm aware of what sickle cell is, what it can do, what can happen. So my partner's got screened, test results have come back negative, everything is fine. Based off of that decision, we have then gone ahead, got married, got engaged, got married. It took us 4 years to have our first son because I had fertility issues. The 10-day heel prick test comes back. So I don't know how to switch it. I'm going to switch the story because I feel like my story is quite unique to me, but it might not be. Had my son, 10-day heel prick has come back and it's positive for sickle cell. We find that out later, and we find it out in a way of the sickle cell consultant coming to the door, knocking on the door. I thought it was a normal midwifery test. You know, they come to your house and you do the checks and whatever. And they said, oh, we've come to speak to you about your son having sickle cell. So my husband and I are there and we're shocked because we think there should be no sickle cell because we've gone through the screening. Like I said, it took us 4 years to have him. So we had multiple blood tests throughout those 4 years. At that time, I was quite distressed because obviously we've gone through the screening process and you're not expecting anything. So the hematology nurse came in, she spoke to us, and I really didn't take in any of the information because I wasn't expecting them first and foremost, and I wasn't expecting that information. My husband, we had actually got a letter from the hospital that he was tested at to say that he did not have the gene, and I ran upstairs, showed them the letter, and I said, he doesn't have it. So he's looking at me like, okay, well, if I don't have it, then where's the baby? Like, how does the baby have sickle cell? So I'm like, well, I don't know, but it's our baby, so what are we doing? So, cut many long story short, the local hospital where we are, so we moved from London out to Bedfordshire, and the local hospital had retested my husband and found out that he has AC, I have SS. So hence why our son has SC. And it's strange because the letter that they sent to our home to say they were coming was received as they were leaving. So the postman actually gave it to the hematology nurse thinking it was her house. So we did not know in any way, shape or form, one, that he had sickle cell, and two, that they were even coming to give us that information. Had we had known, going back to a conversation you had, we'd have been prepared, we'd have had information and we would have known. My son is now 10. He presents as, although he has SC, he presents as having SS, so he's had quite a few complications. And we've learned a lot throughout his lifetime of what sickle cell is, how it impacts on us, how it impacts on him, and just going through day-to-day life. It hasn't been easy, but it's been a great learning experience for us all. But I will say it's really, really important for the parents to have that information. And it's kind of like an oxymoron, because we did everything we needed to do and still ended up here. So in regards to emotional well-being, health and well-being, and mental health management, I think it's really important for the parents, the family, and the child to know. However, working at the Sickle Cell Society, I'm very much aware that there is a negative stigma attached to it, based on health, values, morals, faith, things like that. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say in regards to the actual process. It was just really shocking, because we believed we did everything that we could possibly do to eradicate this. But like I said, here we are. My son is healthy today. He's very well. We're healthy. We're learning a lot more, and we're implementing what we've learned and speaking to a lot more parents like myself. I found out that my story is not actually that unique. But we spread what we can, and we increase the awareness where we can. So that's a little bit of my background.
My name's Sharona. I'm an AC trait carrier. I'm 39 and a half, I'm nearly 40 years old. I have 4 children. First, I'd like to start by saying, from a young age, I suffered with a health condition called classical migraines. And I suffered with it for years. Through puberty, I was in and out of hospital. First, I started to like collapse and feel dizzy. My mum didn't know what was happening, so from there, she got consultants, professional advice to go to the hospital. Was it Great Ormond Street? They did tests, they did brain scans, and it came back that I had classical migraines. From there, I found out I had the sickle cell trait. And fast forward, I'm not going to keep it long, I fell pregnant with my oldest son at the age of 18. I was still having the health condition with my migraines, and they did a test, and then with my son it came back that he had the sickle AC? And then from there, fast forward, I got pregnant with my second son. He's 16. He got a heel prick done when I had him in the hospital, and I think he had to wait 10 days to get the information. And when I didn't hear anything back from anyone as yet, and then I thought, okay, everything's fine then, because I haven't heard anything back. I then received a letter, and I've only remembered this like a month now, that he just missed the sickle cell disease. But me not understanding the sickle cell, I thought, okay, it's just something in my blood. I'm not taking it really serious. I just cancelled it out. I thought, okay, he's all right. I've been with my partner 20 years now. We then decided to have our third child. She had the heel prick tongue test. She came back fine. She's AA. And then we decided to have our last child. She is SC. I'm just trying to remember everything. we had to get, from the hospital, my partner, he had to, they asked for him to do a test for his blood, and because he suffered with anxiety, and he's a fear of the hospitals, so he declined it. So they said, okay, they'll do it. Is it a PND? And then I said, no, I'm not going to have that. So they said, okay, we'll see if we could do the test when the baby's done. So they did the test, and then she came back with the trait. But hearing from his mum, she said to us that he didn't have the trait. So we're thinking he's okay. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to put it on my head. I'm not stressing out now. And then we found out the results that our daughter had the SC. So I said, well, you've obviously got the SC, and you've obviously got the trait because she's come back with the SC. And the lady, the nurse, hematologist nurse, she came to visit us at home, and I spoke to her, I think it was on a Thursday, and she said, I'm calling from Central Middlesex Hospital in London. And I said, okay, hello. She then said, would I be able to come and visit you at home? And I said, why is this? And then she said, well, I said, is it bad news? And she said, well, I would like to speak to you before the weekend, because it was on the Thursday. So I said, she don't want it to pass the weekend, and I'm worrying on my head, up until the next week. So I said, okay, but I just kept asking, is it serious? Is it serious? And then she said, well, I would just like to come and see you, so I'll book an appointment to come and see you tomorrow, which was the Friday. And then she came, and she brought a booklet with her and sat down me and my partner, and she just explained they had different diagrams with pictures on them. And she said, okay, so she said, we've done a test and you've come back, you're AC, your partner's AS, your son is AC, your second son is AS, like his father, your daughter is AA, and your baby girl is SC. So I said, okay, she didn't tell me, so I asked her, I said, does that mean she's got the disease? And then she said, yeah. And then I just burst out crying. And then my partner walked out, and we didn't know how to process it, basically, and it was just too much intense information. And I just like, okay, my mum, she was there. She was just like, we'll get a lot of information, do our research, and we'll sort it out, and you'll be fine, she'll be fine. And after that, we just basically getting a lot of information everywhere. My friend Michelle, her son, she's been giving me a lot of advice and support, and I've just been trying to go to as many events and, support groups as I can to get it. Even talking about it now is it's a bit too much.